This is my baby.
AXE presents their new W1 RGB headphone stand, which incorporates their proprietary digital 7.1 surround sound technology and sports several ways to plug in your gaming headphones, along with 2 USB ports and a haptic pad to control the 9 different light settings. Click the link below and use the code HMODS to get 10% off when you order direct from exa.net.
Hello and welcome to HMODS. What you see here before you has nothing to do with a gaming PC, because this has to do with Xbox. And I took a minute to tell you about this wonderful, wonderful creation. Now, some of you are like me and have been around for a bit. I've been playing video games since, 1985. Yeah, I actually been into BattleTech and mechs and stuff since I first saw Voltron in 1984. And so it's just been, God, I can't stop looking at it. It's been a labor of love for me because I've been, watched Voltron. I didn't watch the Power Rangers though. That was after me and it just looked totally camp. But out of Voltron, I started watching Robotech, and then BattleTech came along in 1987. It was a tabletop game, and then they came out with something like 60 books over the course of a couple decades. And it's because of BattleTech that it's like I owe this entire series to joining the military. It's because of BattleTech that I joined the military, and I joined the military despite my really high ASVAB score. I joined the military to drive tanks, and that is exactly like aside from family tradition, aside from actually wanting to serve my country, I was a believer. I joined to drive tanks, and the Army is the only military branch that if you get a certain ASVAB score, they will let you choose your MOS, your military occupational specialty. And I got a really high score, and they're like, okay, well, you can pretty much do anything you want. What do you want to do? I said, I want to drive tanks. And yeah, so I drove tanks in the Army. It was great. So that love affair with mechs and heavy armor never died. And so after I got out, I was still kind of a PlayStation person, but the new Xbox came out, the Microsoft Xbox, the original one, and I thought it was really cool. And then this came out. I happened to be walking in a GameStop in a mall here in Milwaukee. It was Brookfield Square. I was walking into a GameStop, and they had the big green box right here. They had the big green box, and it said Steel Battalion. And I was like, what is that? And they told me about it, and I was like, I have to have that. Here's the pickup. Back then, the game was $250, and as you can see, there's a reason why. Capcom created this game, and they didn't make a whole lot of money on these because it was such an expensive game to market, because mech games are a very niche genre as far as video games go. BattleTech has had several video games, but it's never really been a mainstream thing. Even the BattleTech centers all over the United States and a couple in Japan or something, they didn't last very long. And so they didn't make a lot of these. But I got the very first generation. You can tell this is the first generation because of the green buttons. The second generation had blue, and we sort of make fun of those people for getting in on it late. But okay, so here's the thing. This game came out in 2003 or 2002 or something like that, and so it's getting up there. As you can see, like, this game is the controller itself. It's got 40 buttons on it. It's got the toggle here. It's got button here, and then a button here. like a missile, like a fighter jet. But it's 18 years old, and these 3 segments are held together in place with 4 screws on each side. It's plastic, and it's 18 years old, and it's getting old. So, because I love this game so much, and I've been playing it straight since 2003, I actually really want to take care of it. Oh, by the way, it came with foot pedals. That mine still work. A lot of people play it really heavy, so there's, they've had to replace the foot pedals. We actually, there's a group of us in a Steel Battalion Discord group. We actually still play this game really regularly. There's a hacker program called X-Link Kai, where it basically tricks your network into thinking that you're playing over a LAN. So the servers have been shut down for this game for a very long time. They made 2 of them. The first one was a story-based game, and the second one was the very first Xbox all-online game. It was the first one. And that's the one we still play to this day. It's still as amazing as it was the first time I played it. And if you're good at it, you're really good at it. If you're bad at it, like me, you're pretty bad at it. I have good days and I have bad days. But we still play every 2 weeks over X-Link. And so I really want to take care of this thing. So because of that, we're going to do something. And we're going to basically do this controller a favor. Now, I'm not going to modify it. I'm not going to touch it because today these things are worth a lot of money. Because they're rare, and if you can find them in good working condition with the box, they're worth upwards of $700. So I want to take care of this thing. I eventually would like to hand this down to my son because it's just that cool. Like, you have no idea. This game in 7.1 surround sound, oh mama, oh, it's good. So I want to take care of this. So what we're going to do is we're not going to mod it. We're going to give it a cradle. And I've been wanting to do this for a while, and I figure since I'm sort of doing stuff more regularly, this would be a fun project. So basically, the idea is to draw something out on a big piece of poster board, draw out a stencil, and then build a cradle out of wood to just basically, like, whenever I transport this thing right now, I either have to grab it by the sticks or pick it up from the bottom, and that puts wear on it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna build a solid wood cradle. It'll be kind of heavy, but I'll never have to worry about it coming apart again, and it's gonna look really cool. I've had plans on this for years, actually. So that's what we're gonna do. And so it's with that in mind that we can now go to the workshop. So let's get this done. Yeah, so we're waiting on her. What you doing, baby?
Playing maybe.
What you playing?
Story of Seasons.
Uh-huh. It's a farming game.
It is.
And we're waiting on her.
Okay, I'm ready.
Are you ready now?
Yeah.
Let's go, wedding face. So someone's not thinking too clearly.
Whose fault is it?
It's my fault. No regrets. R-A-G-R-E-T-S. Okay, so here we got the controller down here. So what I did was we went to this place called Michael's. I don't know if you guys have Michael's in your area, but I had to get some poster board because one piece of poster board is not big enough to go across that. So I'm just gonna tape it. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trace around it, and then I'm gonna design what it is that I want as far as cutting, because what we're gonna do after this is go to Menards and get wood and handles. So an interesting story about this game. Not only was it featured on G4 TV back in the day when the first game came out, but it was featured heavily when the second one came out, because as I said, Line of Contact, which is Steel Battalion 2. They actually made a third one, by the way, and I've got it in a frame. So G4, which by the way is coming back. F***ing A. Loved Attack of the Show. Loved all the other stuff. So anyway, it's coming back. And so G4 featured this on the show twice, and they loved it. And as I said before, there's tons of us who actually still play this game. There's been some other controllers out there that really, really should have gotten the spotlight, but they did not. And so this is the only one out there that really, really set the standard and really, really hit the ground running. And it really is a shame that they didn't do more with it. Steel Battalion 3. Steel Battalion 3 was for the 360, and it worked with the Kinect. So it was a lot of stuff that was like jerking off, because you're like this, and then like you're sitting down on a chair. You had to sit on a chair to do this, and then you stand up, and it's like you're in a tank. So I get that. So you're standing up, and suddenly you're looking out, which is cool. But then you have to do all this other crap, like all this, like you're Beavis. So you had to do all this other crap, and it was like pulling teeth to get it to work. First thing first, we're gonna trace. I think the only thing is like I think I'm just gonna go like this, so as not to get. I'm really protective of this thing, so I don't even want to get pencil lead on it. So I'm just kind of going to go like this, so like that. I'm not even gonna let it touch like that. I'm just gonna go like that and just sort of trace along. I forgot what I was going to say, but one really cool thing about this game is it lends itself to a lot of ingenuity. Aside from this, I know this guy named Nate, who is one of the X-Link guys where we still play. He built a cockpit, and I mean a full-blown cockpit. And complete with like fighter pilot CVC. Like here's a picture of it. I'll have him like this is Nate's cockpit, and that's not all. There's another one right here, and there's another picture and another picture. That guy took it to the next level, and there's just so much interesting stuff that's happened around this game. Like you have people. I mean, this game is 20 years old, and so it efficiently qualifies as a retro game. Oh yeah, this is it's the coolest thing in the fucking world. See, in order to play, I might have said this upstairs, but in order to play this, and it's just like a tank. This is why I fucking love this game so much. It's just like driving a tank, because every time you spawn, you got to start that bitch up. So you've got this button here, which is the cockpit hatch. You got to close the cockpit every time. So you've got the cockpit hatch, and it goes. It goes. And you're in black. So I think what I'll do is I'll fade it and maybe like see if I can. Okay. So yeah, what you're saying. So you have to push the cockpit hatch. Then you have to push the ignition once it's closed. And then you get like a BIOS. So it boots up just a little bit, and then you have to flip these 5 switches here: oxygen supply system, filtration control system, VT location, GPS, and buffer material and fuel flow. So buffer is, of course, how the computer systems run and everything. So every time you have to flip this stuff, and it's just super fucking cool. And when you're going, and after that, when you do all this, it's like, and then the computer screen comes on, the weapon systems come up and everything. And depending on what mech, it's not all the same. First of all, oh god, I could go on about this. You get me talking about any kind of tank, I'm not going to shut up. The screen comes on, and then you have these little, these bars that are like coming up. So like all the power levels and stuff. And when it gets past a certain line, then you hit the start button. And if you don't get it in time, then it stalls out, and you have to wait again. And every second you get it wrong, someone's coming for your ass. And there's gears. You got reverse, and you got neutral when you're just standing there, which nobody does. But then you got 1 through 5, and then after like 1 through 5 is like Gear 5 is kind of like if you ever watched Gundam Wing or if you ever played Armored Core, when you're going really fast, you just kind of like skating by. That's Gear 5. And then if you have a certain generation of mech, or actually it's called VT, which is vertical tank, you can push this override and you'll go even faster. I forgot where I was going with this. There's so much history that I have with this game. Besides Mass Effect and Bionic Commando, like Deus Ex, the Deus Ex series. Those are Mass Effect, Bionic Commando, Steel Battalion, and the Deus Ex series. Those are the games that have lasted with me through the years. Like, I've been playing Bionic Commando since 1987 on the NES, and then I played it. Oh, shut up! And then I played it on the 360 when they released the rearmed version, and then I played the 3D one that I liked so much that I have in 4 different languages. And then like Deus Ex Human Revolution, Deus Ex Invisible War, all those games I've got, and then Mass Effect, of course, I've got in 3 different languages now. And then this. 20 years I've been playing this game. And it still works. It still works perfectly. This is the only controller I've ever had. A lot of people, their controllers break down. This one works just fine, and I keep banging, and I shouldn't do that. One thing I plan on doing is sort of this whole thing is there's gonna be wood coming up like this. So one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole right here so that this cable can come through it, and I'll never have to worry about it again. So we'll just right there. Another cool thing about that game, if you have those switches flipped before you start it up, you can't start it up. Okay, so
You said it stalls and you have to do it over again.
yeah, but I'm talking about the pre-ignition sequence. If you have the switches flipped, they'll just be blinking. They won't just automatically go up. They'll like, you flip, and if you have any of them flipped, they just sort of blinking and they're not doing anything. Okay, so 15 minutes later. God, I could just talk about it all day. And the idea is that the actual cradle, buttons and the ejection thing. Oh, there's an ejection button. If you're almost dying, you have an eject button. And if you don't hit it, you're fucking fucked. You have to literally start from square one. I cannot tell you how frustrating that is. It like I've known people, I know people who have advanced their game to the point where they're like major general, and if you don't hit the eject button in time, or if your eject button is fucked, you're fucked, because you have to start all over. It's not like Prestige. So anyway, you've got the eject button, and you've got all this other stuff. You've got all these buttons here, and then you've got the flight sticks. So we'll just draw a happy little flight stick right there. Okay. I don't know why I'm taking so much time to do this. I think it just deserves that kind of... And then here's the main gun button. And then here's a button right here for the... and then there's the lock button, and then there's the... Yeah, there's the secondary weapon right there. So anyway, it's going to look like this. And then the controller will actually probably be right about there. If you can see that. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. So then the cable is going to come out here. So it's actually going to be pretty high. Why? Because I'm going to use 1/4 inch ply, and then it'll probably be actually a little bit deeper than that. Let's go down. So a 1/4 inch ply right here. Probably about 2 inches up here, going down to about 1.5. And then right about here, that's where the controller will end. And it's elevated because we're going to lay down some acrylic resin, some bar top. And underneath that, we're going to lay down some, I'm going to glue down some comic book pages and maybe an RGB or like an LED strip, like a white one or something. So it's going to be pretty neat. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to need 4 feet.
Yeah.
So 4 feet by, unless we have to like glue them together, by 4 feet by 2 feet at least for the base. 4 feet by 2 feet of base wood, ½ inch or something like that. So 4 by 2 base and then 8 feet of cradle. And then that should do it. Now we go to Menards and get stuff. So let's go. One other thing that I discovered we needed was paint, because I thought I know I have primer, but I don't have paint. And so we have to get paint. The idea is my first thought was just to kind of have it a nice sort of stylish, classic, sort of stained wood. But instead I've gone for, we need a small ball hammer too, and I'll tell you why. So anyway, the idea is to make it look, like a tank. And so it's just going to be a nice flat gray, and then what I'm going to do is, like with Maverick, I'm going to stencil some stuff on. I'm actually going to stencil SR1. If you know what that means, you're awesome. That's what I want. Where'd the can of primer go? There it is. And I've got plenty of black. So the reason why we need a small ball point hammer is because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like hammer the crap out of it into the wood and make it indent it. And then the idea for that is to, once I paint it gray, then I'm gonna take some silver paint that I have and paint inside the hole to make it look like steel or armor. And then I'm going to take some of the black 3.0 that I have and just sort of dab it and make it look like an impact burn. It's going to look fucking sick. I think I like this one. What do you think? This one right here.
Where's that gonna go?
On the sides so I can grab it. Hey, where are hammers? Oh wait, god damn it. We're looking for ballpoint hammers. So this is what we're gonna use to dent the wood, and it's gonna look like impact. So it's gonna look really nifty. I really like this. Like, I might just use this around. This is way more useful than the big giant hammers. Like, the stuff that we hang up in the house, it's just short little tacks. So we don't need a giant, huge freaking hammer. This is cool. I really like this. It feels good in the hand. Yeah, feels like my dick. We're on a diet. This is torture.
Just a little bit?
I mean, if you get it, you might, if I get it, I'm gonna eat all of it, like, right away. So.
If I portion it out for you? No.
Okay. Back to me. See, Poplar's just got a really, really nice look to it, but I don't think we're gonna find anything longer. Also, that's really expensive. I don't think we're gonna find anything. Oh, wait, never mind. 4 feet. I don't think we need 4 feet though. That's too much.
3 feet's not good enough.
And I think that's it. What else do we need? Wood, paint, handles. We've got glue. We've got plenty of screws or nails. We've got rubber feet. That's it. That's all we need. I don't think they're gonna let us film paying for it, so I'll see you at home.